This segment brought to you by SureCrop, liquid crop nutrition delivered right to your farm.
We're back. Now Kyle and John talk about protecting farmland from urban sprawl.
Hi, this is Kyle Bauer visiting with John Larson. He's with American Farmland Trust. John, I'm going to let you explain who American Farmland Trust is.
Sure. American Farmland Trust is a nonprofit that was formed in 1980, specifically looking at the sprawl that was going on across the country and wanting to put in place an organization that really focused on protecting farmland. So from the perspective of not necessarily anti-development, but more in the perspective of where are our most productive ag lands in proximity to urban centers. And let's make sure that we protect those lands in such a way that people have the ability to produce the food, the feed, the fiber, and the fuel that they need.
But you protect it and not through statutory work.
Right, all voluntary, utilizing programs where there is funding available to pay that difference in the development value and then put it actually on the deed that it is protected in perpetuity as an ag value.
And what are some of the most recent initiatives you're working on?
So one of the ones we're really excited about right now is our State of America's Farmland initiative, and it is a geographic information system, GIS initiative, utilizing a number of different data layers for us to be able to show where are the ag lands that we've lost since 1982, and then projectively looking at it from the perspective of where are those most productive lands that are in the risk of being lost. So utilizing that big data to actually help us to target. We don't want to, and it would be silly for us to try. There's not enough resources that every acre of farm and ranch land should be protected. But strategically, there are those places where, so that we don't have sprawl and we don't lose those productive acres, that we target them in those ways that then are of our value to communities.
I assume most of your work would be on the peripheral of large urban areas?
Yeah, that's where we're really focused because that's where the most threat is. You know, the one thing I like to use is the analogy of cities and big urban centers are in those places that they're at because of the productivity of that. There's availability of water, essential to human life. There's good productive soil. So thinking about it in the long-term context, let's make sure that we're not paving over that which produces what we need. Not what we want, but what we need.
Now you mentioned, though, this would be attached to the deed. So is that through perpetuity? Could I imagine that because of urban sprawl, I would see a piece of farmland well within a city in the future?
Well, utilizing smart growth and thinking about it strategically as far as how much do we think that urban center needs to move out rather than move up. Density, population, looking at it from the perspective of, okay, long-term over time, what kind of densities do we think are the most strategic? So my hope is, and we've seen this in one example I can give you is Modesto, California, where the city needed to expand its boundary, wanted to move out into the very productive farmland to the west of the city, and the farmers said, no, this is some of our best ground. And so a corridor of easements was put in place that really stopped development. And it was strategic in that it didn't allow, and the city didn't want to, jump over the easements, and so actually developed up into the highlands, which is where the development should have gone.
Visiting with John Larson. He's with American Farmland Trust. This is Kyle Bauer reporting. Back to you, Jamie.
Thanks, Kyle. Come back after the break for this week's Kansas Farm Bureau update.
This is Eric Stonestreet, and as many of you know, I love my home state of Kansas. In March, Kansas ranchers lost homes, equipment, and thousands of cattle from the largest wildfires in the state's history. Imagine losing all you have in a fire. Not just your house, but your livelihood. Ranchers are beginning to rebuild, but it will take years and tens of millions of dollars to build back herds, fences, and other infrastructure. Today I'm asking you to help. Donate what you can and show your support to the ranchers of Kansas. Simply go to kansasfires.com. Your donation is tax deductible and will go to those who need it the most.